guys, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here, we are back for another episode of our Patreon campaign. This one is called Mundus Novus. We are running a Vaesen campaign. And if you're just catching us now, first of all, what the hell have you been doing? There's been several episodes already out there. And two, if you seem a little confused that we reference things that you have not seen if you've been watching along at home, that's because the first two seasons, the first two arcs of this show, were not streamed. Will there be a recap? I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Who do you think I am? I have all time in the world for that? But we're here now. The first arc was straight out of the book. The second arc was a adventure called The Author in the Sea, for which I purchased off of Drive-Thru RPG. You can go check that out. And this third arc, called Waxing Crescent, is one of my own making entire. So join us for some Vaesen as we investigate the late 1800s in New Orleans. But if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining us over on Patreon. Link in the description down below. There is now a free tier over there. Go check that out. I've been doing recaps on all kinds of things. And if I do recaps of Season 1 and Season 2 of this show, that's where it'll go. While you're down there clicking on that Patreon link, click on the Discord link. Join us in the Discord. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. And without further ado, as usual, I turn things over to myself. There's the handoff. Previously on Mundus Novus. Led by Martha, our investigators make their way to the French Quarter, picking through charlatans and street vendors until they find themselves outside the verdant veil. Entering as mere patrons, each of them begins discreetly searching for clues and assessing the likelihood of Liliane Gauthier being involved in the recent murders. After some intense searching of the store and a powerful session of palmistry, our investigators leave with a potential new ally, if only she can be properly motivated. We find ourselves later that afternoon as you all have a nice little dinner. So as the resident local, despite trying to hide the fact, as the resident local, Martha, where in the French Quarter do you lead your companions to have a dinner, a pre-seance dinner? And now you have entire liberty to describe this place however you'd like.
Okay. Well, I would find a nice little like hole in the wall type place that was like one of those places that had like the private chef that only the people that are like truly local know about, right? So, it's gonna be like semi down an alley, but not too scary down an alley. And then like behind like a bank or something, and like a little like and there's going to be a door, and then it's not even marked, like there's no sign or anything outside, right? So you just have to know it's there. And then you would be able to go in, and there's going to be like 15-20 tables, so really private. They're going to write the menu on the chalkboard for that day because it's going to be fresh for the day from whatever they could actually, catch. And whatever the chef was, going to cook that day, that's what your options are going to be. And of course, it's going to be very Louisiana and seafood heavy. So there would be like pasta with clams, and some fish of the day type, thing, maybe a gumbo, and maybe a nice clam po' boy.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So the six of you join the crowd. There's a small group of people here, right, at this restaurant. You join a short queue for a seat. You are sat down, and for sake of, investigative discussion, you're a little bit away from people. You're still in the general, seating area, but we'll say you guys are in a corner. It's not often you get a six top, right? So these six of you, obviously, Emerson is given a bowl of water outside of the establishment. It is a restaurant after all. But he's given a bowl of water, and the six of you are sat down at a rather nice restaurant. The food of the southern coast of some muddy Gulf water is served before you. Some mud bugs, some clams, all those fun things. And obviously, the dessert of choice would be beignet. So,
Oh,
what are you?
yes.
Yeah, right. I know words occasionally, mostly food. I mostly know food. That's my expertise. Is food in random places. So yeah, you all sit down to have a dinner after your day began with some discovery inside of the church, where you found a strange device. You found strange communications. You hunted down a procurer of witchcraft, a green witch as she called herself, and an aid to your patron. And Cyrus, you had a bit of a time there. A bit of an exhausting experience. So, by all means, please describe how this dinner goes for all of you. Feel free to use your mementos and heal if you need to, or have conversation with each other. What does dinner look like for the six of you?
Well, first, does Cyrus recognize either of Martha's parents in the restaurant?
Martha, are your parents in the restaurant?
I do not think that they're there that night.
Okay.
I wouldn't have gone if that was their regular Wednesday night haunt,
I had to check too. Thank you, keep me on my toes. So, for sure, you do not recognize them there.
Then Cyrus will not troll Martha. Actually, he will. Martha,
well,
is that your parents over there?
No.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. It's been some time since I've seen them.
Keep your voice down. Martha is very busy teaching Wyla the correct way to eat. Ignores Cyrus completely.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, I think Signy, she's not really engaging everyone or in any conversation. She's just looking at the menu, and then when the food comes, she's just pushing the food around and then eating. She probably ordered a gumbo or something like that.
Martha also grabs the napkin in front of Signy and throws it in front of her lap.
I need to know for my own sanity.
Thank you, Martha.
Now, Wyla knows how to consume food, right? As a teenager, she's made it this far in life. So I need to know what Martha is doing to instruct her how to eat properly. How is that different than how she's normally eating? Which is not with her hands in just,
What a wild animal.
Yeah.
Well,
I just want to know what the difference is for Martha.
Okay, well, of course you have to have your napkin in your lap. And if you have a first course, you have to make sure that you're using the silverware from the outside in, because you have to make sure that you're using the correct pieces.
Right.
And, of course, Wyla, is probably used to just one spoon and one fork. But if you're at a proper establishment, then, you have more than one and you have to choose the correct option.
Right, of course.
Right. And then you would want to make sure that if she was laying down her silverware, that it wouldn't be just crooked up on the plate like this. You wouldn't want, you want to put it down properly. And then you're going to want to cut one bite and eat it, not have your, there's a lot of rules to cutlery.
Yeah, the small fork is for salads, the large fork is for entrees, the oval spoon is for desserts, the round spoon is for soups. Of course, yeah.
And then sometimes they confuse you and they put it up at the top. And then what are you supposed to do with that? What's the order of that? That's just why.
They are supposed to go at the
It's
top.
a trick.
Yeah.
Well,
and then if she ordered something,
that's what it is.
if she ordered something like clams or lobster, of course, there's a whole nother set of silver that goes with that, right? Because you've got to open it correctly, and then you've got to crack it correctly. I mean, there's a whole thing.
Random tangent here. Not random, it's completely on point. We in my home ec class, we had like etiquette class. It was part of home ec in like middle and high school. And I remember like actually having a lesson on that. And then I remember with my parents going to a fancy Italian restaurant and somebody with the most stereotypical accent going, "Hey, what do I got all these fucking forks here for?" And I was like, "What? This is a cartoon. I'm in a cartoon place." I'll never forget that moment the rest of my life. Never has cutlery etiquette ever come into play in my life except for that moment. And I was like, that guy's dumb. He doesn't know what those forks are for.
It was probably one of my uncles.
So what you're saying is you had like a smug internal monologue.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I had one of those, look at this guy. Look at that guy. What does he know? Perfect. Yeah. So you kind of whip out the cloth napkin to place at her waist and explain that like you shouldn't just house the loaf of bread. You're gonna break into little bite-sized pieces and all of that fun thing. Now I believe Cyrus, I'm going to single you out for a minute. Not like I haven't been bullying you this entire season, but
or last season for that matter. But yeah,
or all of the seasons.
Who's keeping track?
I don't know what you've done to draw my ire, John.
I'm
but
so
you've done
glad that John joined our campaign because it used to be me, and now it's him, and I'm so happy for that.
I'm just gonna say werewolf people.
I don't know what it is about you, John, but you just came in and I just started swinging.
Yeah.
You wanted to, based on your harrowing palmistry, you wanted to spend some time with your memento and heal yourself. So what does that look like? Either at dinner or you step aside separately. What does that look like for us?
So I think by this time everyone has seen Cyrus do this on at least one or more occasions where he will basically kind of put his hand up to his chest, hold on to the necklace that he wears generally underneath, and will fondle it. I guess maybe starting to use.
Welcome to our Friday show.
And there you go. And yeah, nobody ordered the crabs, so it's okay. So he will kind of I guess fiddle with the with the necklace, his memento, and he will basically be talking to himself, or at least it appears that way. But for him, it is talking to the spirits, and having them talk back, and sometimes they are reassuring, and most times not. So, but that's kind of his ritual for recentering himself.
Interesting that you say most times they are not. This is one of those times. You will still functionally have the effect of using a memento. You may heal one condition. But as you touch this necklace, now everyone has seen you have this leather necklace, and I believe it holds a satchel, right? That's what's on there.
No, it's got it's a seashell with a pearl.
Oh, you can actually see the seashell though.
You can see.
I thought the seashell was okay. Cool.
No.
So as you sort of like trace the lines, right, like those little grooves, and that's that sort of like comforting, almost like a worry stone. You trace the edge of your thumbnail along those lines, and maybe hear the rattle of the pearl against that. You are overcome with unsteadiness. And when I say unsteadiness, I mean physically, almost like vertigo, only you know the feeling, and you would refer to it as your sea legs. It's as though you've lost them, as if you were atop a ship's deck and the ship lurched, and you sort of stumble to the left, and you feel that like flip in your stomach as if you have not gotten your sea legs under you. Even though you're sat at the table, you still feel that little bit of like, ooh, kind of thing go over you. And even though you're not at sea, you're not even that close to water at the moment, there is still something that terrifies you about that feeling and how you felt that so often on the open sea, that it kind of grips at you as something's not okay. And whether that is in your mind or is as a result of something that Miss Gauthier said to you, you're not entirely sure. You do recover a condition here.
I
So
think
it
I
does
pulled that
function.
last time. I think I cleared off the angry condition, which, based on everything you just said, works nicely because I still have the frightened condition, so
Perfect.
that still works.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So we have Martha is giving etiquette lessons. Cyrus is centering himself. Signy is avoiding every reality at the moment, which is unlike Signy. What is William and Alec doing?
William, I mean, first off, he would have ordered his tip. I mean, this is a fancy place, so it's not just going to be rot gut whiskey. He's going to get something nice to drown his brain out with.
Going top shelf. Nice.
And I mean, the first thing he would have looked at was the dessert menu, because it's like, I'm sorry, whiskey, beignets. I mean, that's like the perfect combination for him. Alcohol and sugar. Come on, let's go. Other than that, if he was sitting next to, I'm going to say he is sitting next to Cyrus, and he is going to kind of just strike up a quiet conversation with him. And because they had a kind of impromptu psychoanalyzing session as they were walking to the coroner, I think it was, kind of just checking, like, Cyrus, how you doing, man? You've been a little, I don't know, it's just been a little hectic for you.
Oh, true. It's been quite the day. I think the cocaine that you gave me earlier is run out, or worn off. So I don't quite feel as chipper as I did after you gave it to me.
Oh, well, there's plenty more with that. I got lots of
okay.
leaves for you to chew. That's good. Because it probably would have been just the leaves, not, turned into like powder or whatever. It's just you chew the leaves for an upper.
All right. Well, good. I might need some of your medicine a little later, but for now, yeah, something the witch said put a lot of things into perspective for me. Some things that have been, when you have different pieces floating around in your head and all of a sudden some things click together. So I think I have a better sense of what's been going on with me now.
Achieving a sense of clarity is it just sets the mind at ease. Not quite as much as a good drink, but it works.
Well, that would normally be true if the thing that I realized was not so terrible, but at least I know enough now that I can try to decide what I'm going to do about it.
Terrible. Oh, do we need to talk about that? He's totally putting on his right hand at this point.
Oh yeah, terrible. Yeah, I learned that I'm cursed and most likely dying.
Wait, what?
Yeah. But without knowing more about the curse itself, I don't know what that means yet, but at least now I know what to look into.
Well,
I'm not surprised.
I have seen things that no one would have believed, as we all have. Certainly things outside of my medical training. But a curse leading to a death, I don't entirely buy yet. So,
well,
I think this is something we could probably deal with.
Let's hope so. I hope you're right. I hope I'm worrying about nothing. But I also have seen some things that are beyond this natural world. And not only have I seen curses in effect, but I have run into plenty of people or things in my past that would be capable of delivering such a curse and would have reason to do so.
Yes, I mean, if your curse involves werewolves, then that's a big nope on my thing, John. You
Oh,
have
that-
fun. You have fun with your death.
That thought hadn't occurred to me, but I a werewolf necromancer. I haven't heard of such a thing before, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So,
Well, he'll reach over and he'll pat him on the back. We'll get through this. Don't you worry.
all right, and
We have plenty more coca leaves for.
likewise, we'll get through this whole werewolf thing that's going on without a scratch on you. Let's hope. Because I hear werewolf scratches can cause lycanthropy, which would then turn you into a werewolf, but I don't want to frighten you anymore. So I'm just sorry. I'm just talking out loud.
All right, and he's gonna lower his voice a little bit. On that note, if something like that were to happen, he's gonna reach into his coat pocket and he's gonna just kind of half pull out his revolver. You aren't going to let that happen to me. And he'll put that revolver back into his pocket. If you understand my meaning.
I understand, Lloyd. And with like all seriousness at this point, just I understand. If that's for you would be a fate worse than death, then I'll do what I can to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Thanks. And then he'll turn back to his whiskey and just get kind of silent again.
Everything before you lowered your voice, was that at, a loud enough volume that anyone at the table could hear it?
I mean, like if the restaurant is particularly noisy, people probably across the table couldn't hear it. If it isn't, then it wouldn't have like been whispering or anything like that, right?
Yeah,
and just
normal conversational tone, I guess.
Okay. And just for my own fanfic, where is Signy seated?
I don't know. She would have just sat down, and then probably the first open chair that she came to. So, where everyone else.
Perfect. If you don't declare, I declare. You sat right next to Cyrus, because why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't I instigate this drama? So, Signy, you can hear all of that. You can hear it in that entire conversation up till William lowered his voice, and you saw a short, mostly like whispers and like manly nods back and forth at the end there. Understood. Those things. So you heard the beginning, 2/3 of that conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Who do I
Alec,
Oh, go ahead.
so Alec had found that diary written by the witch.
Yes.
It had mention of the ley lines.
It did.
Alec is, socially awkward, and it has the diary in front of their face through the entire meal, very absorbed, but will like just randomly interject into conversations uh, um, as they arise during the meal. And after Cyrus makes his declaration of pending death, says, Emerson says that of all the ways to lose a friend, death is the kindest. And then we'll go back to being quiet and continue reading.
I love the random introspection. Anyway, about
My
your
first
business.
thought was the dog.
Oh, that's even better if people think Alec is talking about the dog. Outstanding. I think today in this moment I will pick on Martha. Martha, go ahead and roll me a I want to say investigation, but let me double check your character sheet here.
Observation is here.
Roll me an observation.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's not dire. You'll be fine. One observation. Now, now, Martha, you more so than anybody has, up until the last few years, one could say, had lived a relatively lavish lifestyle, right? Or at least a well-to-do, a well-appointed lifestyle, and as such, you would have been taught your letters, your numbers, etc., and to whatever degree that took. But you would have for sure been read, probably by some sort of nanny or nursemaid, read children's books, children's stories, and in 1935, a book was published by Hans Christian Andersen that would have been read to you. The book was called The Princess and the Pea. And I make reference to that now because as you sit in a restaurant you frequented in your younger years, you sit uncomfortably in the chair, almost like the Princess and the Pea could not sleep on the bed. Something is sticking out of this chair in a way that you can't, despite you trying to teach etiquette to Wyla, you can't quite position yourself properly in this chair without feeling a lump underneath your leg. What do you do?
Well, I would probably kind of, if I can't wiggle around and figure out, what it is, can I easily slide my hand to where it is and sort of like feel it?
Yeah, with an observation of one, you kind of get your hand, like maybe it's something that you sat on, or something that like stuck to your dress or your habit. I believe you're still wearing a habit. Your habit, because that's where we are in this world. And maybe it's just something trapped between the back of your habit and the chair. You sort of slide your hand under your leg and you don't feel anything, but you can as you slide like on the back of your hand, you feel there's a lump, and you think it might be something either in the chair or under the chair that seems to be pressing the chair upward.
Pressing the whole chair, or pressing
just like
is this an upholstered chair?
It is like a lump in the seat, like it's tucked in there.
Okay. What were you gonna ask? Sorry.
It is one of those chairs that is upholstered and like like the upholstered cushion is like then stapled or nailed to the actual wooden frame. So you could reach underneath the chair to try to find this thing, if you want.
Oh, underneath the whole chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that might seem odd. So, instead, what will seem much more logical and natural to Martha is if she excuses herself to go to the restroom, but in the process, accidentally knocks over the chair so she can get a look at the bottom without looking like she's looking at the bottom.
Perfect. Expertly done, as if you have gotten out of many a dinner this way. You excuse yourself, and the chair becomes inexplicably attached to the hem of your gown. As you walk away, you pull, this chair topples over in a way that you can see that there is, in fact, something stuffed into the underside of the chair, as if the chair, the upholstered part of the chair that is stapled down, was cut and something was stuffed into there. You can see a bit of black fabric sticking out from the inside of the cushion.
Okay. Well, I will say, oh, how silly of me. Very clumsy. And I will pick it up, but in the process of picking it up, I will very skillfully, where nobody notices, kind of yank the black cloth out and stuff it somewhere in my habit.
Okay. As you pull this out, I will let you know right off the bat. You see that it is not just a piece of black cloth. What I will tell you in the quick second you see this thing and stuff it in, it is a bag. It is a small black bag tied with red string.
Huh. Okay. Well, I will take a look at that later, but
Okay.
it would be odd to do so in the, just here at
Sure.
dinner.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, so as you sort of reseat your chair, you upright your chair, you sit back inside of this thing.
Well, I
We
still have
see,
to go to the bathroom,
of
so I
course,
mean, be because or else the whole thing wouldn't make sense. So,
right, of course, uh, and there's a moment because I feel like it's happened before, where Wyla like is in that half get up, half sit down, like she's waiting for you to tell her to come with you. And she's not sure if she should just come with you and accompany you to the bathroom. But eventually she gets up and follows you there. And we'll say we have a bathroom scene where like you enter and she goes, "Is everything okay? I saw you you tripped on the chair fell over. Is everything okay?"
oh, oh, yes. Well, and then I like lean in like I'm telling a little girl secret, right? I say, I actually didn't really trip on the chair. You see, there was something under my chair, and I pull it out. But it would be very rude to just reach under your chair during dinner. So therefore, I made a little trick, and I got it. See, let's see what's in it.
Oh, okay. Is that normal for things to be in your chair? Is it like a prize?
I I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't think so either, but I don't know what people from New Orleans do. Okay, and as you open this thing, you it's like a cinched bag, like the red is like the cinch work, and you sort of pull this apart. Do you just pick around in there, or do you like dump it out? Just so I know.
What does it feel like there's in it? I mean, does it look like there's, I mean, if I dump it out as like powder or what? I mean,
It doesn't.
what's
It doesn't feel like powder. It feels like chunks, like hard and crunchy chunks.
hard crunch? Just what can I see what's in it? Like
Yeah,
if
if
I
you if
peer
you if you
in?
open it and
Okay.
you look inside, you see that there are the face that G is making. Hard and crunchy chunks is the trigger for G. You see inside there that there are a mix of like crushed herbs as well as small bones, and you see that there is a small piece of paper that is sort of rolled up tightly and also bound with that same red string.
Okay. Well, I'll look at the I'll kind of like lean over with the paper and show it to Wyla and like and say, look at this. Like hoping she'll just read it aloud for me.
You unroll the piece of paper.
Yes.
Okay. You unroll the piece of paper, and they're like, you know what words look like. These
Yes.
don't.
Oh,
These are strange symbols that you have no idea what they are.
do they match up with the symbols on the table?
They do not.
Okay. More symbols, and they don't match up with any of the symbols we've seen on the table or in the books or in the grave, yeah, like around town.
Correct. They do not.
Okay. Um, well, I say, looks like witchcraft.
She looks to you and she says, I think I think those are animal. I think those are bird bones.
Oh, I shield little Eddie's eyes.
I sometimes when I was hunting, pheasant and the like, and those look like the way that they're hollow like that. I think they're bird bones.
Well, this is quite disturbing. This does look like witchcraft. And I wonder, nobody could have known that we were sitting in these seats. I wonder who it looks like an evil charm.
I am gonna roll for Wyla. Let's see, Wyla. Let's see what happens here.
What? Wanda, I wonder.
I wonder. Wyla gets no successes. She knows nothing more than you do.
Okay. Well, do I know anything about evil witch charms, or is this the extent of kind of?
I'm going to flip that question back on you. Do you know about witch charms?
I don't. I
Um,
do not. I don't think I would. I would have much experience with evil witch charms.
I don't think you do either. But if you were
I think
hiding
we-
some secret witch knowledge from me,
Well, this is quite disturbing. I've heard stories about things like this where people, where witches they cast spells on you and put weird things like this in bags, and then they hang them over your bed or stuff them under your bed, and it's supposed to be like a curse. And this doesn't look good at all. This is very disturbing. I think we're going to have to ask the group about this, or go back to the witch, although I don't particularly like that idea.
I mean, perhaps Cyrus he knows weird things, and all the tattoos. He might know.
That is true. That is true. Well, we wouldn't want to pull it out at dinner because that would be odd. I mean, bird bones. Ugh, I'm gonna have to carry that around. That's disgusting.
If you put it, I'll hold it.
That would be
I can hold it.
wonderful. And I tie it back up and hand it over to her, like,
She
you know,
just
with,
hands
like
it,
that.
and then you see her do a practiced move, and realize that she's not. You have her in a dress, and she goes to shove it down into a pocket that isn't there, and then she like looks around at what you've put her in, and realizes now she doesn't know where to hold this, so she's just holding it out, like she has it like clutched to her, and she's like, okay, and she starts to leave the bathroom.
Well, you can't just hold it. Here, just stuff it somewhere.
I don't know where to stuff it. I don't have. I wear pants. This is not. You don't have pockets in these things.
Well, just Martha shows her how to stuff it down her dress somewhere.
Okay.
Because Martha's good at stuffing things down her bosom, apparently.
That's true. Chocolate is
Chocolate.
for
Yes,
sure.
with a
been
never-ending
stuffed there in the
chocolate
past.
supply.
Yeah,
It's right next to the monk's foot.
absolutely, absolutely.
I'd stuff in my own dress, but there's no room.
There's no room. It could not be. Yeah. So the two of you walk back out as nonchalantly as possible back to the table, and you see Wyla sits down next to Martha and looks to you, Cyrus, and does like a raised eyebrow thing, as if you're supposed to know what that means. Like she's definitely trying to signal you, but with the subtlety of a brick. And she kind of goes like this, and she goes, and then like looks down at Martha's chair and just nods as if you should know what that means, and as if she is the most stealthy person in the room.
I thought you were gonna say she looks at her bosom and is like,
No.
it's warm.
Wigs. Like, not trying to have Signy kill the poor girl, jeez.
I mean, considering Martha knocked over a chair, and all of us would have looked, did any of us notice the sleight of hand with the bag?
I'll tell you what. Martha, go ahead and roll me a stealth, because you were trying to do it as stealthily as possible. And anyone who wants to have glanced over at Martha while doing that can roll me a, I want to say it's vigilance.
Okay. Stealth.
Martha stealth, anyone who's curious, vigilance.
I feel like if she hadn't knocked the chair over, Signy wouldn't have cared, but because she did, that got her attention.
That's fair.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
Everyone
Cyrus.
notices, except for Alec, who is really into this book. Is supremely into the book. Alec, like, I feel like Alec is just reading, and the chair gets knocked over, and you just go, shh. Continue reading.
If I get 3 successes on this bullshit and I totally fail the seance, I'm gonna be pissed.
That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. So everyone sees Martha snatch something from the bottom of the chair, right? You've all gathered that the chair pull was a bit of a ruse, except for Alec, who is only interested in ley lines and doesn't really care about what Martha's doing. Cyrus, you see something pulled out from the chair and then quickly like hidden away. and then a disappearance to the bathroom. So you know that there must be some collusion between the girls about whatever was in the chair. Cool. Okay, yeah. So that's what happens. Wyla kind of like gives you a little bit of a nod.
Yeah, Cyrus won't even pull or do any pretenses. So Wyla and Martha, what was it that you found under your chair there, Martha? You want to share with the rest of us?
It's not appropriate dinner conversation. And I put my napkin properly in my lap. We can discuss it after dinner. It's very gross.
Since when are we appropriate?
It's gross. You don't talk about such things at the dinner table. It might ruin your appetite.
All right. Well, I don't have much of an appetite anyway. So, and we're investigators. This is our dinner conversation.
Also, Alex shouldn't be reading that book.
Excuse me?
She tries to detract from
All eyes turn to Alec.
Alec, it's not proper to read a book at the table.
Just slapped him in the face.
Mike, has Alec found anything interesting in the book yet?
Yeah, sure. Hold on. So what is in the book that you have? I'll give you the synopsis, really. There are a few points of relevance in this book. There are detailed maps and descriptions of key ley lines around New Orleans, highlighting areas of strong magical activity and historical significance where the lines intersect. There are accounts of how these ley lines have influenced local history, from the settling of the city to pivotal moments in supernatural history. Again, if this is all to be believed. There is guidance on how to tap into said ley lines for enhanced magical practices. There are advice on safeguarding one's self from the dangers that can arise when meddling with the ley lines, including unpredictable surges of energy and unwanted attention. And then the author shares their own personal journey of discovery and lessons that she learned from interacting with the ley lines, providing a kind of personal bow to wrap this all up.
Awesome. Alec turns to Martha and says, "It's not appropriate for a young lady to call out an adult at dinner either." And then, and then communicates what they have learned so far in the book.
If you'd like to venture deeper into that book, I will need a learning check at whatever time you deem appropriate.
I think Alec then ignores Martha and continues to read the book. So
Okay.
I don't know if you want to do the learning check now.
Yeah,
or
sure. You can do a learning check right now. Yeah. Go for it.
Is there any benefits to this? Let's see. When looking for clues in books. Okay. Yes, so I get +2.
You technically have a book and you're looking for clues. I'll take it.
Ooh.
2 successes. The first thing you find is in the everything is hand drawn. So like references to like there's no like comparative like geometry to like it's sort of like points of reference in any of these maps. But you're fairly certain, based on the points of reference here, that your new HQ, the church, is a convergence point. Where there are a mass of ley lines here. You also see so I'm going to give you 2 for the first success and 1 for every additional success. So you see the church that you are staying at is a powerful convergence. You see the church that Martha led you to is a powerful convergence point. And you see that the cemetery, the graveyard, the St. Louis #1 that Cyrus has been to is also a powerful convergence point.
That is good info.
Remind me, Mike, did Alec bring a map, or did Alec just study a map before coming to New Orleans? I can't remember.
I believe you studied a map, but I don't think it would be that hard to procure a map here in the city.
But we don't have one with us.
I don't think you have one on you. If anything, you would have one back at the church. We can sort of hand wave and say that you did procure one back there, as I think Signy was setting up her murder board, and usually those involve a map.
Let's just assume then, though, that Alec is spending the rest of dinner reading to get to this information, and then we can
Okay. Cool.
have.
I think I
walk
purchased
everyone
like a
back.
tourist map once we got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Dinner is served.
Oh no, no, we're not
oh.
done yet. We're not done
Oh,
before dinner.
please.
So we're not letting Martha go.
They're serving dinner, and Cyrus is still like,
I'm still on it. I just said interesting distraction technique of Martha, but share what is it that you found, unless it's a dead rat, which then puts the safety of our dinner here in jeopardy. Unless it's a dead rat, we can talk about it at the table.
It's really inappropriate. Wyla, just tell them what's in it.
Wyla, you do.
This it's a bag of hold on. And she like
Ugh,
very
so gross.
very unceremoniously just like reaches in like into armpit and just procures this black bag with zero dress etiquette. She unfurls this. You see a black bag tied with red string, and she begins to dump it out like
God.
she just took the lid off a salt shaker.
No.
And you see
Don't dump it
herbs spill out of the bag, a bunch of small bones, and the now sort of crumpled piece of parchment that was in there, and a short, like maybe 2-inch long red string sort of topples out.
Martha's really hiding little Eddie's eyes now. She's like, "Oh no, don't look. It's going to be okay. Shh. That's not going to happen to you." And she's scratching the back of his neck.
He coos.
Cyrus is just kind of like looking. All right. The piece of parchment. Can you pass it over?
She picks it up and hands it over to you.
Take a look at it. Do I recognize anything on it?
You do recognize things on it. There are 2 symbols on this. One of which, I take back what I said. Martha, you vaguely recognize the shape of the symbols, but you don't have no idea what they mean. One of them is a line. Pretty easy to recognize that. And the other one is kind of like a canted Z. In that I mean that it is a line with a kind of like downward facing one side arrow and a upward facing the other side arrow. So kind of like if you twisted a Z a little bit. You see both of these, and I think that's the part that I'm going to go ahead and give you for free. These are Elder Futhark. These are the kind of runes that you may have tattooed on you, perhaps, Cyrus. The first one, the line, is the rune for, and no one tell Iquin so he can't yell at me. The first one is the Isa rune, and the second one is the Iwas rune. And you know that the Isa rune can mean watching and waiting, and the Iwas rune can mean death.
Okay.
These were rolled up and tied with the red string.
Okay.
Can you put the spellings in chat, please, Mike? For those 2 words?
Yeah.
And there's only the 2 runes, or there's other runes too?
Only those 2.
Okay.
So Cyrus will actually look towards Signy and Alec and say, "You might want to take a look at these. From what I remember, they are watching or waiting, and the other rune is synonymous with death. I guess I'll just do that one. So does anyone know, or in anything that we've read recently, that this would be construction of a similar to a grigri bag or some other thing. Would I know that? Maybe.
Yeah, you'd know that. It's a greenery bag. Usually those are for protection.
Right.
This seems to be not that.
Not that.
Seems to be the opposite of that.
Okay. Well,
A hex bag.
a hex bag. Perfect. Yep. Well, seems odd that it would be here under a chair for really anyone to sit at.
I think Signy like drops, like she's holding her fork. It's like resting, like the tip's resting on her plate. She like lets it go, so it makes like a clank sound. She's going to stand up and turn her own chair over and see if there's anything hidden in her own chair.
There's nothing hidden in your chair.
Okay.
Martha's just trying to like literally like fall down into her seat because she's so embarrassed at this point.
Mike, is there any, are there any like ley line intersections for this restaurant?
There are not. There are no. Sorry, let me rephrase that. There are no maps that would indicate this restaurant, as far as you know. So that means one of two things. Either, that means one of three things. Either this map was made before this restaurant was built. The person did not discover any ley lines in the area, or there just straight up are not any enough ley lines to call it a convergence point in here. So you don't think that. And the maps are pretty thorough throughout the city. So your best guess is that there probably is not a convergence point here, or if it is, it may be like one runs under here.
Would Martha? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, would Martha know like if this is the favorite table of somebody, of some family or somebody that she would have known?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me a it's charm, I want to say, but I could be wrong. I know other games have contact. Go ahead and roll me observation.
Can I use my +2 local expert?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll do that with bonus die +2 and see what happens. No.
Great.
Ooh.
2 successes. So you get two things here. You get the unfortunate no. This is not the famed seat of anyone. However, as you realize that, the significance of like this is a bag of bad witchcraft, right? Of negatively charged witchcraft, and no one of importance sits here on a regular basis. And before you have the chance to like say this out to the table, you happen to like glance around the restaurant and you notice something. The person who sat your table is nowhere in this building. In fact, you don't recall seeing them since you entered here and they sat you.
Ooh. Guys, I am starting to have a really bad feeling about this. There is I know everybody in this town, and I know everybody in this town that would come to this restaurant, and there is nobody that favors this table. This is not like a special table for anybody. So I also haven't seen the waiter who sat us down since we came in. I think this might have been planted for us.
Signy looks is crouched down, but next to her upside down chair, and she looks at everyone else. Check your chairs. You need to know if Martha's the only one.
And Cyrus just looks straight at Martha. Martha, very good eye. Very well done. And then he'll flip his chair.
Probably everybody at the restaurant is like, what the heck is going on?
Totally.
Can I
Like-
do a I don't know what the role would be. Can I remember if this gentleman sat Martha specifically, as in like doing the gentleman thing, like pulling out the chair for her to sit specifically at that spot, or did she appear to sit randomly? You're muted.
You can roll. First of all, Cyrus, there's nothing under your chair. Second of all, you can roll me.
Oh, it's like an investigation
Hmm.
or something, or observation.
I want you to roll me vigilance.
Vigilance. Okay. Does my
Vision.
eagle eye come into play here? A situation that I'm
Plus
involved
2 to vigilance at a scene you're not involved in. Yeah, you're not involved in it, so.
in. One success.
1 success. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you not quite a devil's bargain, but I'm going to let you make a choice. I have 2 pieces of information for you, but you only get one of them. I will give you the piece of information that you asked for,
Okay.
or I will give you a piece of information about the person who did the sitting, like did the bringing to the table.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, the first option has a chance of either being very interesting or just okay, versus finding out possibly who this person could be. I'll go with the second one.
Wasn't a man. Was dressed as a man. Was not a man. Was a
it a
woman.
werewolf? Okay.
Was a woman. Was a
werewolf.
Jesus.
Damn it.
Was a woman.
you have.
Was a woman who had their hair cut and tied back in a way that would be indicative of a slightly longer haired gentleman, and wore the appropriate uniform of the restaurant, which is just a simple, like, black and white, black slacks, white shirt, black tie, very simple outfit here. But you can tell they went to an appropriate length to disguise themselves as a man.
So definitely a disguise.
Well, disguise in that they, like, wore the uniform, tied their hair back, and tried to, remove as many, overt feminine features as possible so that they would kind of blend in with the rest of the staff.
Was that the person who gave Emerson the bowl of water?
It would have been, yeah.
Okay.
She's still crouched by her chair, still investigating it, and then she looks at Martha and she looks back at the chair like she's thinking. And then she will look at Alec just randomly. And
Alec's reading.
They were a woman. He was a woman. The person here, Alec, here, and she taps the table.
What are you talking about, Singy?
The person who sat us at the table.
The person who sat us at... I'm sorry, I'm coming into this in the middle. What are you talking about?
The person who sat us at the table.
Why is Cyrus's
chair? She looks to Martha instead.
What is going on?
Why are your chairs over? Sit down, everyone, sit down.
She looks at Martha instead and goes, "They were a woman, dressed like a man. The person who sat us at the table.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
Well, no, but they were disguising themselves."
Are there other women staff that are dressed the same way? Okay.
Nope.
That's the key thing. That's different than the rest of the staff here.
And then she will look around. Sorry, Martha, you didn't mention that the person is gone, did you? Or
I said I hadn't seen him since he sat us down.
And then when you say him, that's when she goes, "It was a woman." And then she looks around to see if she sees this person. And then she'll look at William and Cyrus and go, "They're gone."
Okay, I think we need to file a complaint. Women dressed as men and seating tables. And there was also a hex bag.
You didn't order the soup, did you, Martha?
As if that's a secondary thing.
And she makes like a spit motion, like spit soup.
Yeah, has anybody eaten yet?
I did not order this soup, thank goodness. Lord, I don't
callback.
know if I can ever order soup again in a restaurant after, the information I have.
What a callback to
So
spit soup.
I think it is safe to say that we drew the attention of some likely witch or witches. So perhaps
Or
we should eat somewhere else.
yeah, I think she'll stand back up and right her chair with a thunk.
Do you,
Maybe it's time that we pay our tab and make our way out.
Sounds good. Martha, pay the tab and we can go.
Alec, pay our tab.
Alec
Leaving.
drops some bills on the table and gestures with their head to the door. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, William will stand up and he'll look at his not quite finished drink and be like, "Yeah, well, in for a penny, in for a pound." Down the rest of it before he leaves.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Martha would look down at the scattered remains of the, stuff that's all over the table, and she turns to Cyrus. Do we need that for anything? Like
It's
taking it back to the witch and figuring out what it is?
Maybe I could do something with that, but we shouldn't leave it here. It's not good. So he'll go around the table and using a knife just kind of scoop as much of it he can back to the bag.
So gross.
What? It's okay. Never
Okay, also, I think we should get rid of it as soon as we need to take it back to that witch and just give it back to her and get it. I don't want to carry that around either. It's just disgusting.
I think we should burn it. Can Cyrus determine what type? Does it would it matter what type of bird bones it is?
Everything matters.
Okay. So
everything matters.
So
in one of these, everything is chosen for a reason.
With Cyrus's background, do you think he would be able to tell what type of bird it was?
Cyrus, with your background, I will let you determine whatever the hell you want about this bag.
Maybe. Would I know all of the different components of different bags?
So maybe. The herbs.
I can do a roll just to kind of randomly see.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do
I would say the knowledge of the herbs is sort of general, like you were a woodsman. Also, you have a background in weird shit. And then same thing for bones, right?
Sure.
I mean, you're not like a ornithologist or...
Yeah, I'm just thinking because he's got a woodland background and he was a tracker. I don't know.
I'll do a learning, which I'm terrible at, but let's just give it a shot.
Like
actually, before you roll learning, I just want to double check something here, because you also get some supernatural bullshit. Your observation. What is Sixth Sense? I always forget what the hell that one does for you.
Sixth Sense is it gives you, if you succeed on investigation, you can get some spiritual witchy bullshit information.
Yeah,
if there's anything.
It's on page 55 if you have the book.
I don't have it open. Okay, cool. I don't think any of those will help you. And none of your bank successes to read Signy or your own demise assist here either.
Right.
What about Wyla?
Wyla doesn't have any unique skills.
Oh, okay. Well, thought she was outdoorsy.
Might she recognize the bones?
She can do the same role you can. So what I'll say is Wyla can assist you for a bonus of 1. Sure. I will say you could, you're not going to use it, but you could use your spirit guides here, if you so choose.
No, I'm not going to use it for this.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm going to do like a deep dive on it, but this is just kind of a look. So I guess I'll do a learning. I'll take the +1, which will just counteract my condition. So yeah, nothing. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. As they walk out the door, Alec's going to hold out their hand for the bag.
I'll give it to you. Are you going to destroy it?
No. So they walk out the door and Alec goes to the dog bowl and picks it up and empties the water out of it and then says, Here to Emerson. Holds the bag and the bowl out to Emerson and lets Emerson sniff and says, "Seek."
Love it.
Interesting.
I've got a
Okay.
bloodhound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's good at investigation and vigilance, so I'm guessing it could do this.
This is
It
all
does.
this
It gives you a so here's what happens, right? So you have a dog. So the dog gives you +3 to investigation. However, I'm gonna give you. All right. Here's what I'll say. You need 2 successes for this because while your bloodhound can do this, you just handed your bloodhound a bag of herbs.
And a
So
bowl
the
that was carried
correct,
by the...
but the overpowering scent of herbs can wash out the scent of human traceable scents. So you'll need 2 successes for this. But go ahead and roll me a an investigation check with a +3 bonus for Emerson.
Can Cyrus help at all, given Cyrus or Wyla, given their tracking backgrounds? Can we help the dog? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'll just ask. Can we help the dog?
Man,
This
I
really goes
see
the
what
other
you're
way.
getting at, and I like what you're doing here. But unless you want to confess that you're secretly a werewolf, I don't think that you can help in this.
That makes sense.
Unless you want to
Because
ruin,
we're
unless you
making
want to
the dog-
ruin William's day to like
Well-
the worst day ever.
Let's
the
not
dog's
do that,
helping
shall we?
us, maybe, but yeah. that
We
makes
do
sense.
know that the person was a woman and then they're not here anymore. So, like, physically tracking a person, maybe they
So that's the thing is there's
something.
no it's street, right? So it's not like we're tracking through the woods. So there's no footprints in the streets, right? There's no like bent twigs in the streets. So tracking through a city is a little bit harder than tracking outside, which absolutely Cyrus and Wyla could help on. Perhaps if you get to a destination, you may be able to know more. But we'll take the roll from Alec first. So that is a investigation with a +3 bonus to that. You need 2 successes for this.
All right. I have a wealth of knowledge. Does that help?
Unfortunately, no, because essentially Emerson is doing the searching for you. So like once Emerson, again, same thing with Cyrus. Once Emerson found something, you can apply that to the general location. But you can't help the dog be better at searching. He can help you be better at searching.
Okay.
I think you've done everything you can by giving it to him.
Cross your fingers, everyone. Here we go.
We've had a lot of double.
Oh, 0.
Wow, a hot 0. Now
can I
I'll
try
remind
again?
you.
Yeah.
You can take a condition and try again.
Let's see. Do I want to be angry, frightened, or hopeless? Oh,
I mean, you
Alec
did get scolded by a child.
Alec is always angry. Yeah, I just did get scolded. So we're going with
frustrated
angry.
than angry.
Let me just double check. Is it roll before? Hold on, I always forget that rule. Pushing the roll. When
It's
pushing
after,
the roll, the condition you acquire as a result does not come into effect until after the roll. So roll first, then check condition.
All right. It's not meant to be, y'all.
Man,
Jeez.
on one hand, I was like, "This could be very cool." On the other hand, I was like, "I did not prepare for this. I did not prepare. I forget about the dog every time I'm prepping. I need to make a note. Has dog anytime I'm prepping sessions."
That's 20 dice, y'all.
Yeah, that was so many dice. That was 10 d6s on that roll.
Ouch.
Spicy roll.
Twice.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately, you guys are kind of led around on a wild goose chase. You see that like Emerson begins sniffing at the air. He's sniffing at the ground. He's sniffing around. He smells the bag again, and then you are more or less led to like various flower and herb boxes around the city. And you can tell after a good, maybe 10 or so minutes, Alec, whatever amount of time you deem appropriate, that he's not going to a person or a specific place, but he just keeps running into flower boxes and little herb gardens, and you can tell that he's getting confused by the scent of the different kinds of herbs that are in here, and that's kind of what's throwing him off.
Damned dog. This is a waste of time.
Oh, good. Emerson's fault.
Oh, poor puppy.
Yeah.
Emerson tried. And
Well-
the herbs are quite powerful. I can see him getting confused.
As
Fine,
we're
fine.
as we're walking,
it was
and
a fine
following.
idea.
Okay.
Perhaps, well, there's some benefit in destroying the bag. However, we also might be able to, given another day, have Miss Gauthier take a look at it, and she might be able to discern, one, its purpose or its contents a little better than we are, or perhaps even its maker.
Well, maybe we shouldn't just carry it with us. I mean, after all, somebody tried to specifically curse us. Hanging around with it doesn't seem like such a good idea. Maybe we should leave it in the church. So surely it'd be safe there.
If any place.
I mean, I don't think we should sleep with it, certainly.
Maybe we leave it outside the church. But on the
Maybe-
church grounds.
Maybe we could just, slightly bury it in the church graveyard.
Well, hang on. We're in like town at this point, right?
You're in the French Quarter. Yep.
Yeah, so we're probably a lot closer to our hotel than we are to the church. Yeah.
I thought it was all kind of close, isn't
I
it?
think
Is
they're all. Yeah, I without drawing a map here, everything is within walking distance. I think everything is in the French Quarter. I think the hotel is also in the French Quarter, or is just outside in like the main strip.
My thought was that we could like stash it in the alley
Yeah,
next
yeah.
to the hotel or something like that if we were closer. But if everything's all equidistant to one another, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how late you want to be out tonight.
Can I look around and see if anyone is noticing us walking around?
Yeah, you can do that for free. You don't have to look around. Yeah, you're following a dog through a city.
Well, there's dogs in the city. He's not the only dog.
Yeah, most
There's
of
a
them
nun.
are.
There's
With
Yeah.
a raven.
Yeah, there's a nun with a crow, and you're not like walking a
Raven.
dog on the side. Sorry, raven. And you're not walking a dog on the sidewalk like a normal person. You're being led around on a hunt by a dog. So yeah, you stick out like a sore thumb.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, it's good. It really is. Now that you have the dog, it really is Scooby Doo. Yeah, you guys stick out. So yeah, people are like looking at you, like you look like you could be drunk revelers. Who knows? No one's looking at you like aggressively, if that's what your question is. But yeah, you are catching the eye of many of people.
Well, no, my specific question is about anyone who is nefariously watching us, not just like, oh, there's like someone glances away because we walk by. Is anyone like spying on us?
You can roll me a vigilance with your one thing. What's that? What's that one thing you have?
Eagle eye.
Not eagle eye. You're in that scene. You are involved in this one. What's the one that stops you from getting like a sneak attack? Essentially, is that one?
No, I don't have anything like that.
I would like to help Signy keep an eye out because
Okay.
of my general paranoia, but I don't need to roll as well, but I can help.
You can give a help, yeah. So yeah, go ahead and just take a regular vigilance attack. Vigilance roll with a +1.
No.
Man.
Yeah, you look around and you catch the eye of several people that are sort of like looking at you in sort of a they're looking at you in a sort of Martha way, right? Where they disapprove of your actions, but they aren't actually saying it to you. A look you've grown accustomed to, I believe. Yeah, but no one seems to be like outwardly like tracking your movement and like following where you're walking to or paying too hard attention to you.
Okay.
Are we doing a seance tonight?
Yep.
I definitely don't think we should take it to the seance.
Oh God, no.
That sounds like a really bad idea. Let's go hide it in the church. Like, surely that'll like counteract, it'll like then it'll like neutralize it.
It certainly won't make it any worse, and it won't be on our persons. So both of those things are good.
Cyrus, didn't you say that the church has all sorts of spirits in it? Do you think it's a good idea? Fine, don't listen to me.
Who were you talking to?
Oh, she was yelling at me.
Oh,
Yes, I did say there were lots of spirits in the church. There's also lots of spirits around the city. Uh,
Agitated spirits?
generally cursed bags aren't affecting the spirit world directly.
Whatever.
Like I said, I wouldn't keep it inside the church, but keep it on the church grounds on the outside.
Well, what if it rains?
Well, then we ruin a hex curse bag, which is not a terrible thing.
Well, we don't want to ruin it because we need to take it to the witch so she can tell us who did it. You guys are not following.
So we soak a cloth in some oil, wrap the cloth around the bag, bury it somewhere outside the church, and then we can dig it up.
See, now William's following.
I'm all for just burning it.
That is not a good idea.
It's meant to do you or anyone else harm.
It can't do anybody any harm if it's on the church ground because God will protect us.
Sure.
When I'm on the church grounds, I'm still cursed and dying, so I don't 100% agree with their logic there, Martha. But
Well, I'm sure he's making it better.
Her eyes cut to Cyrus, but she doesn't react.
We should do what William says.
Can we just stop talking and do something already?
Lead the way, Alec.
that's fair.
And Alec grabs their hat and stomps to the church.
She'll follow.
I think Alec needs to eat something before we continue.
He's angry. Here, you have a Snickers bar.
Alec is angry.
Oh, that's right, because we didn't get our dinner.
Yes.
We just had
But
like the
also-
bread from the bread bowl.
Well, you had soup, and just no one ate the soup. Everyone was afraid of the gumbo.
Yeah. Is
Oh
gumbo soup?
man.
I don't actually know. I don't think I've never
I
had
mean,
gumbo.
it's wet with chunks. It's
Or it's like
a
a-
soup.
Martha pulls out a chocolate piece and
Like a
hands it to
chowder?
Alec.
Yeah, chowder's a soup,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Like a stew almost.
Yeah. If it's a stew but watery, it's a soup.
Yeah.
It's a thick soup is a stew. A watery stew is a soup.
Okay, so we're walking to the church to deposit the hex bag, and then we're gonna go to the cemetery.
Yes.
And hopefully pick up a bite along the way.
Yeah.
At least something to give to Alec.
Yeah.
The worst is you ordered all the food and then still had to pay for it, but didn't eat it. Cool. Okay, so you head back. Where are you putting this bag in the church? Just curious.
I don't want it in the church.
Where are you putting it at the church?
Find a gravestone that says
Oh.
Abbey Normal and put it in there.
Yeah,
Wait,
perfect.
on the church grounds, the priest, didn't he have a had a place that was separate from the church, or was his
No, there's no like rectory here, but there is there's no like separate. But he has an office that's attached to the church.
that's where we found the book under the
No.
diary with all the symbols in it, right?
Yes,
Okay. Okay. It wasn't unattached though.
correct. It was attached.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the grounds that like a tool shed or anything that is?
There is not, but you imagine that is probably because his house was so close by that if he needed things, he could just go get them.
Okay.
All that's on here is the fence, that sort of the wrought iron fence that sort of keeps it, separate. The church, and then the handful of graves that are here.
Is there just a box of some type in the church?
Yeah, there would be probably. I imagine that Martha would have found it when cleaning up. But there is a small wooden, almost looking like a birdhouse, or like a bat house. If you ever seen a bat house, attached to a wooden stanchion, which would be the donation box.
Cool. Well, why don't we put it in the donation box and stick the donation box outside? Keep it
Done.
away from ourselves, but still protected in case it rains.
More or less.
She will take the box and open the lid, and like, I think Alec is holding the bag. hold it up to Alec to put it in.
Alec will drop it in there.
Okay. You hear it thunk to the bottom of the wooden box.
And then we can always burn the whole thing together if we need to.
So what time is it now, Mike? Is it dark yet?
It is. I'll say that the walk over here was the descent to dusk, right? So it is now dark. It is more dark than light. You still see like orange and ambers, on the horizon through the trees and buildings, but for all intents and purposes, it is dark.
Well, Cyrus, amidst all that chair chaos, did you have a chance to prepare?
I'm ready.
You've been to the cemetery before. Why don't you lead us there?
All right, Wyla, come. Well, let's show them what we found. Or rather, didn't.
Yeah, of course. Lead the way, and she steps in line behind you.
All right, we will make our way to the cemetery.
Okay. It is a relatively. Oh, go ahead.
Before we leave, Cyrus will grab a couple candles from the church, put them in his bag, and then he has his normal gear, but he's going to take a few extra candles.
Okay. Do you have your own candles, or are these the only? You're just taking the ones from the church.
I have my own as well. I have a few of my own, but I don't know how many we're going to need.
Okay.
So
Cool.
he'll just take a few more.
Signy will offer to put some in her own bag. He's not carrying everything on his own.
The curse sort of weakens him, so he can't carry the candles as well.
She's also going to be more polite about it. It's like, here, you carry all your own shit, Cyrus. No, she'll be like, hey.
Come on, Grandpa.
Thank you, Signy. That's quite nice of you to offer. Thank you.
Is there like a blanket or a tablecloth or something in the church?
There's claws.
No.
Or like something that I can put over the donation box?
Only unless you, not unless you brought something. Everything else has been mostly cleared out. There was a few, the furniture of the church has not been taken out of here. But all of the previous pastor's belongings had been taken out. I think there was a robe, like a priest's robe, like vestments.
Perfect.
There was a robe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's like a closet in his room.
Okay. Well, I make a point of making sure wherever they put the donation box, it's not like right out front where people are literally going to steal out of the donation box.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay.
So I make a point that it's like, stuffed behind the church or, someplace where it wouldn't necessarily be right, where everybody can see it and just be like, oh, I can just go reach in there. That looks like a good idea.
Yeah, you try to hide it as best as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, the journey to the cemetery is entirely uneventful. It is streets that most of you have walked before. You have seen the cemeteries like this, and Cyrus leads you inside the wrought iron gates of the cemetery, and everything's sort of like it's almost like that weird feeling you get when looking at liminal spaces where a dark between where you are, there's a dark corridor to where you're trying to go to, and is that uneasy feeling. Everything sort of looks the same in that it looks almost labyrinthian, right? There are raised graves, all made out of like white to gray shades of stone here, that sort of just go in what seems to be unending grids throughout this thing, that it makes it very, and enough of it looks similar enough with the same like iconography and like religious symbols that it looks like it's very easy to get lost in here. So as you sort of walk in, it has that kind of that movie effect where they dolly in and zoom out, where everything sort of starts to like extend around, and it looks like this grave sort of extends forever. But Cyrus, where do you lead people to have your seance? Where's your optimal seance position?
So, based on the conversation we had with the grave diggers, I think they pointed us towards where they were burying I think they said the unclaimed, or basically the unnamed victims. And so I want to get as close to where they pointed me to as possible.
Outstanding. Because it was you and Wilder that came here before, I'm not going to have you roll for anything to try to find that place. You absolutely do find this place. And again, this looks just like, you've gone through like several rows and columns of this area. Seemingly Cyrus and Wyla know where they're going, and I think the two of you sort of confer to make sure. But for the rest of you, everything looks the same over and over again, until you get to where Cyrus is leading you, to which you see the recently disturbed area and like a recently built above ground resting place, where you see Cyrus begin. What does it look like as you're summoning the spirits?
Well, okay, so I gotta do some setup first. But first off, before we get started, so would we rather talk to a witch victim or a werewolf victim?
Well, it seems like a witch may have just put a hex on us. Perhaps a werewolf victim.
So we want to talk to one of the werewolves.
Or we could talk to a witch victim to find out more about the witches.
I mean, are they compelled to be honest?
No.
So we might find out more about the opposite party than we would about their own party. So
Correct.
then a werewolf victim.
I agree. And
We'll talk-
Siggy's now holding her medallion.
All right, so we'll want to talk to one that was a werewolf and was presumably killed by a witch or witches. And we'll try to find out what they know. All right, that
William,
works.
do we need to worry about you?
He'll have his hand very obviously in his pocket gripping something. He'll be like, no, this is, I mean, I'm not even entirely sure I believe the whole spirit thing, but I mean, and he'll look over at Cyrus. I mean, it's not real. Nothing can jump out and
Well,
get
they're
us. So
spirits.
fine. Yep. Mm-hmm.
They're all
And he'll-
spirits. They've passed on. They are on the other side. They can't hurt you directly.
He'll pull some
Here's-
leaves out of his bag and start chewing on them for that dopamine
Yep.
rush. And
You'll be all right. We're just having a conversation here. Worst case, we'd learn nothing. All right, so Cyrus will sit down, take out of his bag a kind of a large size handkerchief almost. He will lay it down on the ground. He'll sit in front of it. He will pull out his crystal ball and he will set it down in the middle. And then on each side, he will pull out two of his candles and we'll set them up and we'll light each one. So you kind of get this kind of flicker effect, and you can see the crystal ball is reflecting some of the light from the fire. And then he turns to Signy and says, "Please sit down in front of me.
Me?
You're gonna help me."
Okay. And she will slowly walk over and then sit cross-legged.
Right.
I'm not sure what you want me to do.
Well, this city has a very, very deep history. There are lots and lots of spirits. There's lots of noise. Finding the right spirit is going to be challenging. We are in a graveyard, even more concentrated. And so it's going to be difficult again to find the right spirit. But from what you have seen, even when we were back in the manor, you have a connection to this case. You've talked about your drawings and your images, and you are going to help me with your connection find the right spirits, as it were.
Like she pales a little bit and she drops her gaze from him, and then we'll glance at the others. Okay.
Right. Don't worry, I'm right here with you. We'll do this together.
She
You
and
have-
she still has the frightened condition, so he can tell that she's afraid.
So do I. All right. We'll get through this together. So he puts out his hands and he says, "Take my hands."
And she does.
Right? Okay. He holds on her hands. And he says, "So the crystal ball itself is nothing special. It's just a bowl. But we use it to focus our senses so that we block out our normal senses and open up our connection to the spirit world so we can use our other senses. So it's a way to think of it as having noise in the background to drown out the sound so you're not really hearing anything. So just stare at the ball, keep my hands, and we'll go through this together. And I want you to focus and concentrate on your previous feelings that you had when you had your dreams earlier with the werewolves in them. And I want you to hold on to that and keep that in mind and together. And if you see anything or hear anything or get a feeling, I want you to move towards it that feels familiar from your vision. Can you do that?
She's even, I think she's even paler than she was before. And she doesn't react at all. She just looks up at you as you're talking and then looks back down at the orb.
All right, so he squeezes her hands a little bit. And then he will go within and he'll start reaching out to try to hear one of the victims. And so he will start kind of muttering quietly under his breath. If he's really talking, he says, "For the spirit world, I come to you looking for help and guidance so that your soul may be at peace. If you shared with us, perhaps we can give you something that you did not have in life. And after your passing, perhaps we can help you with closure. So we're one of those was recently killed in the city, perhaps by a witch, perhaps with a knife, and given a marking that would rob you of your strength and vitality. Please come forward, and then I will try to pull him in."
Outstanding. You have a shitload of dice for this. So you can roll observation because you are using your crystal ball.
Yeah.
You can get a +1 for the gree bag to witchy bullshit rules.
Yeah.
Rolls rather. If you'd like to, you can get an additional +2 for your spirit guides.
I think I'll do that.
So that's a +3 right there. Your crystal ball gives you a +1 bonus, so that's a +4 total.
Yeah.
And
whatever G's help or not help. I don't know.
Yeah.
I made all that up, so maybe you'll
Yeah,
give me...
no, that's dope. So what I'm gonna say is right now you have a +4.
Yeah.
But before you roll, G,
Yeah.
Signy rather.
Signy, sorry.
How are you helping? Obviously, you're doing everything that Cyrus told you. On the outside, how are you handling what you've seen what Cyrus can do? All of you have, regardless of whether William believes it or not. He conjured a weird fire thing that happened in front of you. You've seen what he can do. You have seen the weirdness. You know that he's dying. In fact, you've seen it before he did. You are frightened, and you know what's about to happen. How are you helping? Where is your mental state in this moment?
If Cyrus is aware at all when he starts his chanting, he could probably feel her hands like shaking in his. She is absolutely terrified in this moment, and mostly because of the secrets that she's been keeping from them all. He asked her to think back on the dream she had about the murder she witnessed, and she doesn't want to. She absolutely does not want to think about that. Because they were her friends, and she's keeping that from them. But when you say don't think about this thing, you're gonna think about it. So she she imagines herself walking down this alley and then coming upon the torn and eviscerated bodies of her friends. But it's like she's resisting every single step, but there's like a force behind her that's like pushing her forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I like that. I like what's happening here. I'm gonna give you a. Oh yeah, Alec.
Before you finish the bonuses, I have another idea for a bonus.
Yeah.
Mm.
Alec is an erudite, and Alec Alec has read that in this cemetery where the ley lines are intersecting, witches often perform rituals in order to contact the dead, and that such things, when they happen over and over and over in one place, are further enabled, opening up channels of communication and making it very, very easy.
Mm.
You know what's great, guys, at home, people watching this? This is one of those great things in world building where I don't know if I can take credit for this, but fuck, I want to. That's 100% true. Now, one, the erudite skill allows Melissa to make shit up, but that is 100% something I have in my notes that you have not seen. That is a factual thing that I made up for this, and that is 100% true. That yeah, you can have a +1 for that as well. Absolutely, absolutely. The fact that you were able to pull that out here with the information given to you, absolute 10 out of 10 improv. Yeah, so you have, let's just track this real quick. We have, let me open up Cyrus again. We have a +1 for Crystal Ball. Yep. We have a +1 for the Grigri Bag. We have a +2 for Spirit Guides. We have a +1 for Signy. We have a +1 for Alec's erudite ability. And because Alec was so kind to remind us all that this is a convergence of ley lines, we have another +1 for a total of +7 to this roll.
All right, let's do this thing. 7 bonus.
Fucking go.
To ignore conditions because I have empathetic and do it.
Hot damn! That is 14 dice, everyone. 14 mother effing dice. Okay, so I'm going to, before we all wallow in the misery,
Can we
that
push
is,
it?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna 100% push this. That's
before we wallow in the misery that is John's rolls, I'm going to read out the medium ability that allows him to do this. On a failure, you can be given inaccurate information, attacked, or suffer a condition. So, would you like to re-roll?
Oh, 100%.
So,
Best case, I just take a condition.
Can I offer a little bit of bullshittery here?
You can offer
Because-
bullshittery, but I don't think you can offer any additional.
No bonuses,
yeah.
bonuses. But just because Signy is here and they are holding hands, I would let like him channel his witchy woo woo through her, and she will take a condition so he can re-roll. Like he rolls so he won't take another condition.
Well, we both have the same, so it doesn't matter, but I like the idea. So, but either way.
You know what? Here's what I'll say. I love that idea.
'Cause
Mechanically speaking, he can go up to broken before it matters because he can ignore all those things. However, if you want to do that, one, I will allow that, and two, something will happen. So if you want to take a condition,
Yeah, like so he doesn't have to take another condition, but something will happen, but Signy will take it.
yeah. What condition do you take?
She's gonna take hopeless.
Outstanding.
And I think in this moment she's like, her eyes are open, but she's staring down at the crystal ball, and then as she does, just like a tear will roll down her cheek.
Absolutely.
So I think the way
So-
we'll play this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Martha. Go.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know if we're still allowed to potentially add any dice to his next roll, but I do have an idea. how
Let's hear the
Martha could
idea.
help. Okay. So in many cultures, the raven is seen as a symbol of transformation and magic associated with both the underworld and the spirit world. And because of this, when Cyrus is trying to do the seance and little Eddie notices that he is failing fantastically, little Eddie will go and flit onto his shoulder and go ka ka, calling the spirits and assisting with the next attempt.
I'll allow that. I'll allow an additional +1 on that one. So that's a +8 this time.
All right.
And it's Eddie saying, "Get good."
Yeah. wrecked.
So Cyrus will squeeze Signy's hands a little harder. I mean, not to
Yeah.
the point of pain, but squeeze a little harder. And then he will say, Signy, you're fighting it. Don't fight it. You have the skill. You have a gift. Allow yourself to use it. I know it's frightening, but the more you use it, the less frightening it will become. We're here together. Nothing bad's going to happen.
Yeah, I think
We'll
that's
be
that's
fine.
when the tears start falling down her cheeks,
Okay, let's try
and she
this
will
again.
squeeze his hands back.
8 dice.
Total of 15 dice on the line here.
Mother.
Holy shit. Now, I will remind
Jeez.
you,
Holy crap!
I'm going to give you
God damn, fucking roll 20.
29.
I'm going to
Dice.
give you
Oh my
another
God.
option here. So, John, you did not take that condition. You can take a condition. I'll give you one more roll if you want to take the condition.
Oh,
here.
100%. Fine.
Okay. What condition do you take?
I will also take hopeless.
Okay.
Wow, this
This is
brutal.
for all.
Jesus.
Even that's not great.
Even
I
it's-
mean, it's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, two is normally like yay, but on 15 dice. Well, sorry,
On 15 dice.
on 45 dice.
Yeah, that's true. Well, 44, yeah.
Shit.
Wow.
Okay. Outstanding. How does this happen? 2 failures in a row. Here's what I'm going to ask while I'm thinking about how to narrate this. What is different the third time? What do you do differently? Obviously, the second time you blame Signy for it, but now it's you.
Oh no! Now Cyrus is now he's he actually just slips into pleading with his own spirits. Just was like, we need to make this happen. Do not leave me. Do not leave me. Do not let me have to do this by myself yet again. I know you want to punish me, but don't make the people of the city or my friends pay for my mistakes. Please help me. So,
Signy, you feel a shock. The way that, like, wool socks on a carpet would shock you when you go to open the door. You feel a shock, and it sort of runs from the palms of Cyrus's hands into your hands and sort of up into your elbow. And it's that kind of tingle, like almost like you struck your elbow, like your funny bone. And it's enough to, whatever position your eyes were in previously, they widen, and your eyelids widen, and you look out at your assembled companions, and you see black flies around all of them. You see Cyrus before you, and it's enough to almost make you recoil your hands away. But
Yeah,
for the
you
fact
would
that he's
feel a huge
Yeah.
tug on it.
yeah, the only thing holding your hands there is the fact that Cyrus is physically holding them there. You see Cyrus sat in front of you, his face sort of looking listlessly forward, neck sort of turned and face contorted into an open mouth scream. You see his lips are blue and his face is papery white, and his eyes are white. And you know, without a shadow of a doubt, you know, coming from your background, Cyrus is drowned. He has been drowned. This is his death face, and he is drowned. You see before you both Alec and William, the flies sort of cascading around them. You see that William's face is twisted into a feral kind of fear, and you see the William from your dreams, where his throat is entirely ripped out in a very violent and animalistic way. Now that you see him standing before you, and less so laying down in a pool of his own blood, you see that his heart is also ripped from his chest as he stands there, face contorted in fear. You see Alec's face in a face of rage that you did not know Alec could harbor. Her throat too is torn out, heart removed from chest. You see Wyla standing before you, covered in these black flies as well. Limbs twisted at odd angles. You can tell that most of her body has been shattered and broken, as if smashed against things until every bone has broken inside of her. And you see Martha. Martha unfortunately looks the best of all of them. You see covered in these black flies, except where everyone else's eyes were dead and lifeless, you see that there are veins black and like pulling back from her eyes as her entire eye has turned black. You see that the nun's habit and garb that she is wearing is similar enough, but has a strangely dark tone to it. You see that the white of it has turned dirty and dark, and you see the fringes of that are black and red, as if Martha is somehow covered in blood. What she is in this vision of yours, you have no idea what stands before you. For everyone else, you see Cyrus begin to plead and perhaps aggressively converse with his spirits. And everyone who's focusing on Cyrus, you can see almost like a mirage, almost like a road in a hot day. You can see that sort of like the warble of vision around him, as if there's something there that you cannot see. And then a scream cuts through the night as you see Signy head flip back, mouth drops, and a scream that you've never heard her make erupts into the night. And as it does so, the clouds peel back from overhead in the overcast New Orleans night, and a beam of moonlight shines down at the crypt in front of you. And that is where we end this episode of Mundus Novus.
Motherfucker. No!
Of course that's where it's going to end it. Come on.
It's like you're new here, G.
Who do you think is running this game?
Do
Jesus.
it. I knew you were gonna fucking do it.
Yeah, boy. I'll be honest, I have so much more. I thought the scene at the restaurant was going to be done so fast. That's like one bullet in my notes. The rest of it was the seance. Hell yeah. All right. Cool. Let's go around. We're going to do our introduction so we can get the hell out of here and do the after show for this show. I'm sure there's a lot to talk about. If you guys like what we do here, you want to support the channel, and you want to get a piece of this after show and all the other after shows for all the other shows we do, go check it out over on Patreon. Join us at the $5 tier for the after shows. While you're down there, click on that Discord link. Join us on the Discord to be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. And since I feel like I tortured you really the most this time, G, given that outro. G, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
I'm G, the I can't even speak. The friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. You'll find me in all things unMadeGaming. I mod for the regular streams. I play in all things Patreon, which is next week. We have a rescheduled for July, so we have some one-shots next Saturday and the Rise next Saturday. And you'll also find me with Melissa for Age of Always, when that's going to be scheduled, TBD. And you'll find me in the Discord all the time.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dope. Equally tortured this episode. We'll go with Wintress. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Well, I am Wintress Odom. You can find me on the internet at all the boring social media sites like Facebook and LinkedIn. Although don't ask me to actually respond to those. I'm just there. I'll see your message in about a month if you actually message me there. Otherwise, I am on Discord occasionally, probably more often than those things. And what am I up to? Well, I have a really awesome game Friday night with a lot of this group, and I play a lot of board games doing that later today.
Hell yeah, dope. Again, with just torturing people. We'll go with John. You are next. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hey, yeah, I am John. Ask why in the unMadeGaming Discord. I can be online. That's probably the place that I end up being the most, at least for any kind of social media presence. And the rest of the time, I guess what I'm doing is I'm out being a horrible person, building up anti-karma for when we play here, so that all of the bad luck comes out when I roll dice. So that's pretty much, I think, something
In
about
both of the games we play in, John, it's just a real
I
travesty.
canonically roll like. Anyway, whatever. Okay.
I don't know. You need to do a seance with your digital dice. Is I think what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then descending from our list of torturers, Matt, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I am Von, VON, in pretty much all the Discords. You won't find me much on the internet because it's a scary, horrible, depressing place lately. That's why I hide in World of Warcraft. The dice are just treating us so fucking horribly. This is just mean. Honestly, I think it's worse when we have this game following the Crystal Legacy universe games on Friday, because I think we use all our luck up there, and then everything gets screwed up here, especially for John and especially for me. It's just not happy.
I mean,
Yeah,
I rolled 10 dice twice and I got nothing. So
Yeah.
We
it's
really
not
did
just
roll
good.
over
It was
70
terrible.
dice.
Yeah.
Like we rolled over 70 dice to get a 6.
I think there is seriously something wrong with Roll20 because I have just always had horrible luck there.
Well,
I mean, we
think-
get an
I think-
appropriate number of natural 1s and natural 20s in D&D Beyond. It seems fairly good. I don't know.
I think what happened is like it started off pretty good, right? Like I think John cursed himself. You got 3 successes, and
On
then you were
5
like,
dice.
yeah,
5
you were like, I got 3
vigilant
successes.
bullshit.
You were like, watch me roll terrible for the rest of the day, and the game was like, okay, get wrecked. But then everyone rolled like successes, 2 successes, 2 successes, 2 successes. So there's a lot of successes, and then all of a sudden you got to like the cemetery, and the game went.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you think you're doing well? Here, hold my beer. I'm gonna.
You were like, oh, you guys had fun at the restaurant. Well, watch this. I was so ready for that to be a 0, and I was going to attack the shit out of you with ghosts.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh man, such a time. And I think arguably the least tortured soul at the table. Melissa, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Yeah, I mean, Alex had a great time. Alex just got to read a book all
Yeah.
session.
And get
That was
hangry.
fantastic. And get angry. Yeah, the two
That's
of
the
Alex's
thing.
favorite things, really. Hi everyone. Melissa Meyer, Draftier is my handle on the Discord. I'm a patron, so you can find me here. And what I'm up to? I'm currently working on some Mundus Novus art, and you'll eventually be able to find that on gameswithstories.com.
Hell freaking yeah. All right, friends, that is it for all of us. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of this show. We will see you guys next time. So from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.